Despite every warning, this ride had been pretty smooth. The merchant's wagon rolled along at a steady pace. The city of Tanith, long forgotten, those cobblestone roads far behind. Instead, the group now traveled on dirt. Rocks and divots stand in the way. Most of the time, they were hit. And yet still, the ride had been pretty easy. Every so often, a branch dripped into the path they were taking. When they couldn't be avoided, leaves would strike the side of the wagon, drag along the glass until they bounced off and bobbed before going still, leaving no trace of passage. Another divot. This time strong enough to shake the cabin. This time strong enough to wake Barret. A voice across from him. A smiling face. You're finally awake. Welcome, traveler. Today we're going to be starting a new cozy series combining the games Apothecaria by Anna Blackwell and Iron Valley by M.U.N.E. You'll find a link to both of those games down in the description. This series is inspired by Potion Permit. I recently spent half my vacation playing that game, and it was actually a whole lot of fun. You might be questioning the phrase cozy. Those who know me know that I go all in on tension and drama, but no. We're gonna do it fun, we're gonna do it cozy. I'm gonna try to get through a game without killing a single person, and I know the dice aren't gonna agree with me on that one. Speaking of dice, to mediate these two games, we are going to be using the MUNE system, a personal favorite here. I'm sure you recognize the oracle hanging to my right. But without further ado, let's find out who's sitting across from me. My foot is like touching my desk because I can't sit still, and it's shaking my camera setup. Let's stop that. Okay, alright, cool. We are going in knowing one thing about this character, and that is the fact that they are a courier. They're the whole reason Barret is here. But we're going to look to the dice to figure out more information. First, I want to know the character's sex. Even is male, odd is female. Here comes the roll. Female. Now we need to know the age of this character. Learning something from a previous episode, we want to at least have this character be old enough to have the job, right? So we're going to start at base age of 20 and then roll a d10 to see how old. So here comes the roll, d10. 24. Let me mark this information down before I forget it. I have the memory of a goldfish's goldfish. Next, we want to know the character's name. For that, we're going to look to randomlist.com. You'll find a link to it in the description. I'm going to roll a d10 for the amount of page refreshes, and then a d12 to get the actual name of the character. So here comes the d10 first. 8. 8 refreshes. Okay. And then here comes the d12. 1. Cassandra. I like that name. I think I just like names that have the Cass sound, right? Because I like the name Cassidy. I name all of my Gardevoirs that. You didn't need to know that. You didn't care to know that. We are going to do the same thing for her last name. D10 for the amount of refreshes. 6 refreshes. Okay, and then we're going to roll the d12 for the name. 10. Joseph. Cassandra Joseph. Almost rhymes, and I hate it, but we're fine. Now, typically I would roll for a body type, but she's a courier traveling distances. We're going to go ahead and default that to athletic. So I lied to you earlier. We're going in knowing 2 things about her. However, I do need to know her hair, right? That's what I always look at first when it comes to these characters. So, For that, we're going to be looking to D% Quick Character Description Generator. You'll find a link to that in the description as well. And I'm going to be rolling on the hair trait table, a D100 table. I'll throw it up on screen. Here comes the roll. 58. She has a shaved head. Okay, was not expecting that right off the bat, but I mean, hey, you do you. Aerodynamic, right? That's why they have, like, those swim caps. She's not a swimmer, but, you know. We don't have to roll hair color now. That was one of the things we were gonna roll. That's hilarious. I would roll it now in case she grows her hair out later, but, like, we wouldn't know that, and it's much more fun to actually roll it when it comes up. That's great. So let's do eye color then. You can't shave your eyes, right? Here comes the roll. Another D100 up on the screen. 5. Amber eyes. Okay, let me write that down. And the last thing we're going to roll for, that's right, I lied about eye color being the last thing, deal with it, is her skin tone. This is another D100 roll. It'll be up on screen. 54. She has a light skin tone. I hope she's wearing sunscreen. We're actually going to make her sunscreen the first question for the Oracle, right? Barret is a chemist, and if she's not wearing any sunscreen, maybe he can make it for her, right? Dynamic storytelling at its best. Sunscreen questions. Wow. We're here for that hardcore sunscreen roleplay. Question for the Oracle. Neutral, so it's just a day 6. We're leaving that in. Is Cassandra wearing any sunscreen? Yes, she is, and it's doing a wonderful job. She has flawless skin. Shut down trying to make a side quest. Dice never agree. Well, I just thought about the fact that, like, so she has a shaved head. And she's a courier, so she's out in the sun running, right? With a shaved head, that sounds like it's burning, right? So she has to have a hat or something on. So I'm just going to picture her with, for some reason, I want to say a bucket hat, but this is a fantasy game, right? And, like, it's not a bucket hat. Yeah. All right, hold up, pause. We need to do one more roll. Final roll this time, I promise. We need to find a way to govern this upcoming conversation. And we're going to do that by giving Cassandra one trait. For that, we're going to be looking to Iron Valley. Page 194 has an oracle for townie traits. We're just going to roll once so we can see how this initial interaction is going to come out. It's a D100 roll. Here it comes. 8. Artistic. The first thing that comes to mind is poetry. Not in the rhyming sense, but more along the lines of she's poetic, she's descriptive. Think about the fact that Cassandra is a courier, probably spending a lot of time on her own as she runs from town to town. Likely seeing the same scenery, and perhaps she's looking at different ways to describe it. Maybe she's looking at the same boulder, right? And every time she passes it, she looks for a slight change or tries to get a little bit more detailed with her description of it. So perhaps she's very observant. And that's a trait that I think I'm going to follow up with artistic-wise, is also observant. That'll be her second trait. I'm going to give every townie 3. You're finally awake, she says. A slight smile plays at her face. She watches Barret with the intensity of a hungry child, apparently. I thought you'd sleep through the whole trip. Oh, no. I wasn't sleeping. I was just, resting my eyes. Resting your eyes, she says. Do you always snore when resting your eyes? Was I snoring? No. Yes. A voice to Barret's right. We're not going to go through the entire character creation again, but we do need to know two things for this character beside Barret, and that is name and sex. Even male, odd female for the character sitting beside Barret. Even male, and then let's go ahead and get a name. I'll bring up random lists again. Same thing as before, D10 refreshes. 3. Okay. And then D12 for the name itself. 11. Joseph. I hate the fact that he is sitting in a wagon with a Joseph and a Joseph. It bugs me. Let's get last name for this new character. Same thing, 10 refreshes. 7. 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then let's get the 12 up. 10. Collins. A quick roll on the oracle. Is Joseph over his sickness? D6, neutral. No, he's not. And it's getting worse. Bummer, dude. But we need to know what that sickness is. For that, we're going to be looking to Apothecaria. Apothecaria is a game about healing people. It uses playing cards instead of dice to decide most of its mechanics. We're going to be looking to the list of ailments and draw a card to determine what his sickness is. After taking a brief look at the ailments, we're going to start things off slightly interesting and use the intermediate ailments list. For those of you with the book, that's going to be found on page 16. The mechanics are essentially I draw a card and the number of it determines which sickness it is. And we're going to have to find a way to cure it. So which is the first sickness? A 9. Let's see. Oh, I totally just hit the camera. I know I'm going to do that a lot. Okay. Stay still. He has ventriloquist's cough. It has magic 1. I actually need to write this down. Let me do that first. So Joseph has the ventriloquist's cough. More annoying than it is threatening, but man, I would want that cured immediately. Here's what it says. A rare ailment that sees the poor afflicted coughing someone else's cough. They make the motions, ending up with a sore throat and a dry mouth. Worse, though, is the thrown sound. So that just sounds annoying. Imagine being physically healthy and just non-stop. That would suck. That'd be so annoying. We'll go through with the roleplay. I'll explain what that mechanically means when it's time to actually deal with it past the introduction. But let's continue. I wasn't snoring. Right? No. Cassandra says with a shake of the head. Yeah. Joseph doubles over, coughing up in a small child's voice. Barret reaches and gently pats the man on his back. Still coughing, Joseph beats on his stomach before sitting upright and clearing his throat. The child's voice is gone, replaced with his own. Blasted orcs. Tell me about it. You can deal with this, right? Yeah. Yeah, we used to see it all the time at the clinic. Yeah, at least one of you is still around. Yeah. Glad I could be a help. You should take another drink of the salve they gave you. Not helping. So bloody sick of coughing. Yeah, man, I understand, but it will at least coat your throat. When you said you didn't have a physician, Barret begins the conversation by looking at Yosef before shifting to Cassandra. Were they sent out to the front lines? No, she says with a shake of the head. The wagon jostles. Barrett's not sure if that was a rock or a divot, but soon enough the ride stabilizes, and the woman across from him continues. We actually had a village witch that took care of us. She did a fine job, too, Yosef adds in. What happened to her? Just up and vanished. How long ago? Been ages. Feels like years. Couple of months. Not even a year. Easy for you to say when he doubles over again, coughing up with the same child's voice. Despite the fact that Barret has seen it before, it still unnerves him. Well, look, man, as soon as we get you back to the... I can't believe I haven't asked her this before. Did she have a clinic, or she treated people out of her home? It'll be your home now. Really? Yeah, is that going to be a problem? No, it's just... Did she have reagents, something I can use? We don't know. Witch's house actually took a beating during the last storm. Fall wasn't kind to her. Neither was winter, but the house has been cleaned enough for you, from what I've been told. The mayor's made sure of that. Right. Well, as soon as we get to town, I'll get you taken care of. Please do, chemist. Barret. Oh, Barret. Please do. A knock at the front of the wagon. A porthole behind Cassandra opens up. And, even male, odd female. 5. Female. Looking to D% quick character description generator, we are going to get a body type for the merchant. V100. 72. Skinny. A narrow face peeks through the window. Cresting the hill now, the merchant says. It'll be right out your window. And Barret leans in. Sure enough, in a valley out ahead. Smoke, chimneys, a large church with a bell. From here, the people look like ants. But this is Barret's first view of High Rannoc. Barret's first view of home. His own office. An unexpected life. There would be no trenches, no warfare. The battles are left to Luca. No. Fresh out of graduation, Barret is getting every chemist's dream. His own... Reverie broken. He returns to patting Yosef on the back. The sooner this new life starts, the better. And we're done. That was actually harder to record than I thought it was going to be. I forgot how much preparation goes into actually performing the game, and there were just some things I didn't have ready that I should have had ready. No big deal. And 2, this was my first video that I was recording and editing in a while, and then I haven't roleplayed in a while either, so I had to find my voice, find my camera confidence, and it did not come easy. I think I got a hold of it near the end. Some of you may be thinking, hey Nick, this isn't Dragon Age. I thought it was going to be Dragon Age. And you're right. I actually sat down and tried to record Dragon Age like twice, and it just wasn't working out. I couldn't get the tone and style that I wanted to get, and I blamed that on the fact that I haven't been role-playing, so I figured, let's do something else for a moment, take the weight off my shoulders and do something more for fun but still upload it. So I ended up here, which is funny because my Dragon Age RPG is practice for the new Vegas RPG that I want to do, so here is me practicing for my practice, right? It still didn't seem like enough practice, though, so I think I'm going to bite the bullet and do another Resident Evil Trinity episode next. I actually have some interesting ideas for that I think I'm ready to explore now. As for this game, though, I think I spent too much time on the character creation side of it and not enough on the narration. There were some aspects that I just got wrong. For instance, the name. I said Collins. It's actually Meyer, according to the dice. I do that often every now and then, though. And then ventriloquists instead of ventriloquist. Just minor errors that I'm sure will go away as I get back into it. I've been wanting to do an Iron Valley roleplay for a while. If you remember back when I was doing full CG renders for Resident Evil Trinity, I couldn't use my computer during that time, so I was actually playing a game of Iron Valley on my laptop. I wrote out a script, and I was going to read it into the microphone and do all that stuff, but I didn't like the way the CG rendered script writing thing went. You can see that in the Flora Resident Evil Trinity video, and I just didn't like the way that it came out afterwards. So I just kind of sat on that script, and it's lost in my computer with like the 30 other scripts that I never did. The Apothecaria add-on is relatively new though, and it's entirely because I've been playing Potion Permit. The interesting thing about Apothecaria is that it's a journaling game. It's not meant for moment-to-moment roleplays. There are no skill checks. There is one particular moment where you draw cards, but you don't have your standard RPG skills. I figure combining it with Iron Valley would give me that mechanical side that I'm looking for. Plus, both games are semi-social, and I really want to lean into the social aspect of this game, since it's not all about violence and adventure, which, you know, there will be violence and adventure, it's me. Even for a cozy game, it's going to be super mad depressing, because apparently that's what I do. We'll see how it goes, though. In the future, I'm probably going to do separate videos for character creation so they don't clog up the narrative portion of the story, but I still want you to be able to see how the characters pop up. With that, I think that's everything I have to say. It's great to see those of you who are returning, and it's great to meet those of you who have just arrived. I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, I'll be in other worlds.